Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Apple TV Plus review, and today I'm going to be talking about Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Cha-Cha Real Smooth is an American comedy drama that tells the story of Andrew, a young man who is lost in life and stuck working a dead-end job as a fast food worker, but unexpectedly finds talent as a party host for bar and bat mitzvahs. On the same night he discovers this, he meets a woman named Domino. The two quickly strike a friendship with each other, which becomes closer than either of them would expect. This leads Andrew to reevaluate the relationships he has with other people in his life, and to think about what he can do to add more meaning to them and to his own life. I was looking forward to seeing this movie for a while, and I still didn't expect it to turn out as great as it did. It contains a number of themes that virtually every adult can relate to, explores them with a delicate balance of humor and seriousness, and left me with a warm and fuzzy feeling when it was all said and done. This movie is not only written, produced, and directed by Raiff, but he also stars in the lead role. It's quickly evident that this movie was made with a personal perspective in mind, and while I'm not always a fan of personal projects and self-insertion in this way, I have to say that Cooper nails it in this movie. I connected to Andrew's struggles almost immediately. He feels stuck without any sort of direction to guide him, and so he makes decisions based on what other people want or are doing themselves without considering if that's what will truly make him happy, which is a feeling that I, and I think many other people, can relate to. His desperate needs for love and companionship are what hold him back. He thinks he wants to go to Barcelona only because his girlfriend is enrolled in the Fulbright program there, so he convinces himself that's where he should be too, and naturally he receives signals telling him otherwise. His aimless goals are surprisingly realistic. It's rare to see anyone in their 20s who's 100% sure of anything they're doing, and seeing him figure his way through what he thinks he wants versus what he actually needs gave me a sense of nostalgia for my own life journey, which helped me connect to Andrew better. The other main character, Domino, played by Dakota Johnson, was also fantastic. She has a lot in common with Andrew, in that she has her own desires to travel and start fresh with her life, but has personal factors holding her back, largely owing to her absent husband and her teenage daughter Lola. There's a sense of loneliness to her character that is both similar and different compared to Andrew's. Unlike Andrew, who misses his girlfriend but has multiple family members and even other love interests that he can go to, Domino only has her daughter, leaving her little support to fall back on, especially after a tragic event occurs early in the movie that made me sympathize with her even more. I love the relationship that builds between Andrew and Domino in this movie. It develops organically and doesn't feel like a typical romance. It's very messy, with both of them already in relationships, and yet they're constantly on the borderline with what they mean to each other, and they have an undeniable chemistry that made me want to see them become a couple. They both learn an important lesson from each other as well that complements their own lives. Andrew realizes that he's unable to have fun and enjoy his youth because he's so dead set on following someone else's dreams instead of his own, while Domino comes to understand that despite her loneliness, her fiance truly does love her and wants to commit to her, and has the family's best interests at heart. The two were able to grow as characters without necessarily needing to be together to do so, and this was a beautiful way of showing how people become themselves as they transition into adulthood. Sometimes all it takes is meeting the right person at the right place at the right time before the path to happiness is paved. Adding to that journey toward happiness is Andrew's relationship to Domino's daughter, Lola, who is probably my favorite character in the movie. She's autistic and doesn't enjoy the same things others do, and seeing Andrew connect with her and be able to find purpose in life through her was a heartwarming experience. As someone who's on the spectrum myself, I appreciated how different her autism was portrayed here. She doesn't suffer from overstimulation, is very literal in the way she speaks, and doesn't take too long to trust others. It was just a nice change of pace from how other movies depict autistic characters, and it also helps that her actress Vanessa Burkhart is actually autistic, which makes the character even more authentic. At the risk of repeating myself, what stuck out the most to me about Andrew was how he always needs to be around others. This was made clear to me after a scene where Andrew and Lola are playing a game together, and she asks him if he's ever been in an empty room before, to which he responds no. With regards to family, he's always slept in the same room as his brother and hasn't moved out of his parents' house yet. Even though there is a sense of him wanting to move on, he enjoys being a role model to his brother, likes being there for his mother who has bipolar disorder, and has fun teasing his stepdad Greg. All of these things compound to make his lack of a concrete plan even more problematic. And as far as his love life was concerned, I almost took issue with how he claimed to love his girlfriend yet cheated on her with another woman until I realized what he was really doing. Even when he was having sex with someone else, he couldn't stop thinking of his girlfriend while doing it, trying to imagine it was her instead, and feeling threatened when he sees pics of her with another guy afterward. This aspect reminded me of the Japanese movie We Couldn't Become Adults, which I reviewed last year. The main characters in both of these movies hinge their entire identities around a woman who's already moved on to establish their own identities without the man they previously loved. This drives the point home that Andrew has a big problem with his inability to be by himself, to be his own man. There's a meaningful discussion around mental health that comes in this way, which once again helped me empathize with Andrew more, as well as to promote positive messages of taking care of oneself and enjoying life to the fullest that I enjoyed seeing. I know I've already briefly mentioned Andrew's family, but I like seeing how fleshed out they were. His brother in particular was a big standout, with how he has his own subplot just trying to get a kiss from a girl he likes, and him seeking out advice from Andrew for how to approach her. On top of being an adorable story angle, it also reinforces Andrew's good nature with how he stands up for others. His good nature can turn sour when he interacts with his stepdad Greg, but he's still able to make an impact. Better yet was how his mother, played wonderfully by Leslie Mann, wants the best for Andrew and supports him in whatever he wants, even if she thinks it's the wrong thing for him to do. I kind of wish her bipolar disorder was explored a bit more, but just the fact that she and other characters had their place in Andrew's story was enough for me. It's not often that a movie is able to juggle so many supporting characters in its story, let alone be done so well along with the main character, but here it works. There's an equal balance of comedic dialogue and dramatic heft when a scene calls for either, and they both feel natural in how they're used. Some might take issue with how cocky Andrew seems to be in his interactions with others, but I think this is an important element to his character. He mellows out more as Domino starts to have an effect on him, becoming less confrontational and more thoughtful over time. Even before this, there's just as many moments of him crying to himself and wishing things were better as there are of him laughing and joking with others, so even at his worst, he never comes off as annoying and unsympathetic. Now, I don't want to sound like a complete downer talking about nothing but drama, so I'll shift gears to the bar and bat mitzvah parties. They prove to be the most entertaining scenes in the entire movie, adding much needed energy to the plot when it starts to get a bit too heavy, as well as adding further to Andrew's need to be with others and essentially be the life of the party. Lots of great lighting and music enhances the party atmosphere, including the track where the movie gets its name from. It actually plays at a pivotal moment during the story, so the music has some thought behind how it's used as opposed to just being pure entertainment. The only thing I thought was off about those scenes, and my only real complaint in general, is how Andrew is able to get away with so much bad behavior during them and still be asked to keep coming back to host one mitzvah after another. Most of this tied into his alcoholism, which I thought was poorly executed. It makes sense why he drinks at points in the story, but it's never resolved in a definitive manner, and considering the amount of effort that went into portraying the bar and bat mitzvahs and how close-knit the Jewish community is, it's odd to me that word of mouth never gets passed down about Andrew's drunken antics. These are more nitpicks than anything else though. It's fitting that the movie features so many bar and bat mitzvahs because no matter the age, every character is consistently working their way through adulthood in some way, shape, or form, which breathes new life into the coming of age concept it centers around. And what makes this movie so satisfying to watch is how Andrew and Domino come to realize what they want as it builds toward the ending. I obviously won't spoil it in this video, but I loved how it legitimized their fear of the unknown, but they chase for what they want anyway. The characters don't end up together in the way one might expect, but the way it happens is necessary for them to continue growing as people and living life on their terms. It teaches how the subtle effects one person can have on us should never be taken for granted, and that even though people will come and go, the memories will always remain. Overall, Cha-Cha Real Smooth is a phenomenal dramedy that examines the struggles of transitioning into adulthood and the lasting effects one person can have on another, and does so in brilliant fashion. If you like dramedies and you're looking for one that takes place in a modern setting, as well as one that will make you feel super nostalgic, you have to check this one out. It is awesome. Its sentimental presentation with its characters and themes will make it hard for anyone to not reflect on their own lives when watching it. It is a stellar work of art, showing how much Cooper Raiff understands the youth of our generation and how bright of a future he has in filmmaking, and I can't wait to see more of his work in the future. What did you think about this movie? Were you impressed with how fleshed out its characters and themes were, or were there some things I didn't mention that you took issue with? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part, where next time I review the Turkish drama, Doom of Love. Bye bye!